सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So the shlokas which we have been seeing recently, in that Arjuna is showing that there is a close connection between the institution of family and the dharmic way of life. That family and dharma are interconnected, very closely they are connected. When one gets affected, it affects the other. And then it becomes a vicious cycle. When family is destroyed, dharma gets destroyed. When dharma is destroyed, the next generation family is destroyed. So to understand this, we must first understand that dharma itself is made up of three aspects, which we saw in the last class. They are values, attitude, and rituals. Values are the universal values like satyam, truthfulness, non-violence, ahimsa, compassion, empathy. These are the universal values which every dharma teaches. Then the second is attitude, our attitude towards one and all in this world, which must be an attitude of respect, reverence, service to all. Both values and attitudes, they come under samanya dharma, that is universal dharma, same in all the religions. But rituals, they come under vishesh dharma. They are vishesh, specific to every religion. Values and attitudes are abstract, and to express them, they are communicated and expressed by rituals. Rituals also help us keep the family together. It bonds the family together. For every ritual, the family gets together. And also it keeps us retained in our tradition and culture. By rituals, we maintain our tradition and culture. So this is what the rituals and the values and this. Now today, the way the families are breaking like twigs, so research is telling us that invent more and more rituals, to keep this family together. It is that important to have these rituals. We don't give importance to the rituals which are done in the families, but they have a lot of significance. So others may need to invent more and more rituals, but as far as our culture is concerned, we already have enough of rituals. And the religions, when it comes to value and attitude, they are not different. It is different from the ritual point of view. So when the rituals have value for us, then the religion has value for us. But once the rituals start becoming lesser and lesser, then the immediate effect is what? Varna Sankara. Because rituals is what will keep the religions different. We will, we will want to be in that religion. We will want to maintain the religion when we have value for those rituals. And when there is no ritual, when there are no values, then the question arises, why maintain a religion? Why this cohesiveness in religion? Why even get married within the same religion and community? From values and attitudes point of view, any religion is okay. Whether it is Islam or Christianity or it's any other religion, values and attitudes are same over there. The problem is the rituals, the difference in the rituals. Now suppose there is the idea of respect. Every community knows how to respect, but how they express is different. As per the tradition and culture it is expressed, See how the Japanese, they bend down, we are supposed to do namaskara, but it's all gone. India is really busy aping the West, All the cultures, you enter the airport, from there the culture is visible, to the other countries who don't have this colonial mindset. oh, but we are all high and this is what we are doing. You go to the immigration counter, they are sitting there with big long faces with the badge here, service with smile, no smile on the face, no namaste. I mean, they should first say namaste, if they say then, but they'll show this is our culture. But it's not being followed, So when the ritual, this all starts going away, then why this institution of family? What is the need for this institution of family? We can just carry on with values and attitudes, But in our culture, the institution of family was so important to maintain mainly the religion and the rituals which the family followed, And there is the Grihastha Ashrama people. They did it. Because Grihastha Ashrama was the only ashrama which had money. Grihastha Ashrama was supposed to maintain this entire society. The responsibility of the society was on Grihastha Ashram in Vedic times. Because the other three ashrams, the Brahmacharya, Vanaprastha and Sannyasis were broke themselves, they were begging for food, So, Grihastha Ashrama people took care of the entire society, not like today everybody is hoarding for 7 generations, they are hoarding money, You're supposed to take care of the society. This responsibility was on the Grihastha Ashram. Because every ritual was very expensive. Dakshina had to be given after a ritual. Annadanam had to be done after a ritual. So only the Grihasthas could do that. So the institution of family is very important. Then the family is also important from the point of view of Artha and Kama. Artha is what? That which gives us sense of security. And Kama is pleasures. So family was a huge source of both Artha and Kama. Family does give us a relative sense of security. We feel that everybody is around, I'll be taken care of. At least in old age, hopefully children are going to take care of us. There will be somebody to perform the last rites. There is a relative sense of security. But absolute security only moksha gives. Absolute security this family cannot give, And Kama, pleasures, if the family is happy, it is a source of great joy, right? The little baby you bring up, every stage is so pleasure giving, it's so joyful. Husband, wife living a harmonious life, it's full of joy. Relationship with all the family members when they're harmonious, it's a source of great joy, So the institution of family was required both for Artha and Kama also. But today, in many countries, government is taking care of part of this Artha and Kama. Akama, the technology is providing in abundance, But Artha, this security, the government is taking care of. Monthly money is being given. There are old age homes are there. Some people even deposit the money for their last rites with the government, They will perform their last rites also. Then in the foreign countries, many of them are not married, they're living alone. Whenever they need anything, that number, emergency number 911 is so functional and effective. Not like our country, in that traffic jam, the ambulances are stuck, people dying in the traffic jam only. You can't get out. It's terrible, but there is functional. All you have to do is make that call. And even while those people are reaching you, they take few minutes to reach you, It's very efficient. And while they are reaching, they'll be on the phone with those people, boosting them up, you remain all right, this, that, they keep talking. So they are taking care. So why, what's the need of this family today, Lots of people are questioning this family institution. And in the so-called advanced countries, people are following the live-in relationships today. Because they don't want to get involved in any legal hassles. Legal hassles are a whole lot problematic over there, So their perspective is, we will live together till we get along, and the day we don't get along, you go your way, I go my way. Both of them are monetary independent, and they are not. So this marriage business is not really a must, It is so common in the West that people are living in together, they have children, they're still not married. The children are there. The society accepts that. The children are okay with that. And even if they get married and then they remarry, the children are very much okay with step parents, with step siblings. It's all partying together. This is that. They're okay. The whole society is okay with that, you know. But not in our country, in our culture. This is totally different. A family institution had whole lot of other responsibilities, and main thing is maintaining these rituals and maintaining our tradition, culture, and our religion, you know. But sadly, today, many people are not following this, you know. They don't do the rituals, they don't practice that, so they are just all vanishing. How will the children know anything about the rituals? Today's children know nothing. They don't know anything about Shraddha, they don't know about Tarpana, they don't know their Gotra, they don't know which Veda the family belongs to. By the way, we all belong to one of the 4 Vedas as per the family. That must be known which Veda the family is following. We all have. Today it's all not known, you know. Not only the rituals are not being followed, even the values and attitudes are all going away today. From that Vedic time and today's society, just look at these children, you know. So this is the state of affairs, all aping the West, and the way they talk to their parents, all that has changed. Oh, we are friends. What friends? They don't need friends, they need parents, you know. Friends, they've got enough friends. Parents and children relationship was maintained at that time, you know, not today. So Arjuna is very worried about all this, you know, this problem of Varn Sankara which is going to happen, and the repercussions of this war. This war is going to finish Jati Dharma, Kul Dharma, everything is going to go away. So he is worried. Like, you know, the Varnas, like Brahmana Karmas, there would be nobody to do Brahmana Karmas, nobody wants to do. What are the Brahmana Karmas? You study these scriptures and you teach, and there's no money involved in that. Some dakshina and all that is given and you remain content with that. Who wants to do this today? Today the profession is chosen only from the point of view of money. Any profession which is giving more money, that's the profession people want to choose. It's not even as per the inclinations. So everybody is just following that life of arth and kama, eat, drink, make merry, and you know, live your life. It's okay, you can live a life like that, but when a person has lived such a life, then you have to see that same person in old age. Because all the life that person was only looking at the external wealth. The person did not work upon the internal wealth. And after some time, this body is not going to be able to run around. Like everybody is spinning around today, oh this, that, and the day goes away because you're too busy, you know. But they've forgotten the inner part, the inner wealth, they forgot to look into it. And then comes old age when your hands and legs are not moving and you have to be just with yourself. Your children may be there, they may not be there. Whoever's there, what do we know who's going to be there? Even the partner may not be there, you know. Then you are just facing yourself. Can you be with yourself? That is why scriptures are telling us so much. Because this part goes very fast, all fun and frolic, and then that drags. That is the problematic part of life, you know. So they say that when you go to a hospital, you realize the value of your health, you know, and you see all these sick people. When you go to a prison, you realize the value of your freedom, you know, how you're enjoying your freedom. But when you go to a cemetery, some people, not everybody, some people even think, what was the value of this whole life? The whole life just went back. What was the value? We came here with nothing, we go with nothing, yet our whole lives we are chasing everything, and then we go empty-handed from here. Just see the craze, what people are doing here, you know. It's all mindless living going on. So Arjuna is very worried about the repercussions of the war, and mainly the Varn Sankara. Now we will read further. We are on shloka number 43. Doshai retei kulagnanam Varna sankar karakaihi Utsyadante jati dharmaha Kuladharmascha shashvataha. Doshai etai. Etai means these. Doshai, the misdeeds, the wrongdoings. These wrongdoings of whom? Kulagnanam, of the people who destroy the kula, who destroy the families. Varna sankara karakaihi. It will result, these misdeeds will result in Varna sankara in the society. Mixing up of the four Varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Varna sankara is going to take place. Utsyadante. Utsyadante means destroyed. Jati dharmaha, kul dharmaha cha. Shashvataha. Jati dharma are the rituals which are followed in the communities. Kula dharma are the rituals which a family follows in the kula, praying to Kul Devata and doing all the other rituals in the family, which are shashvataha, which are long standing, they are perennial, coming down from our generations. Our ancestors have passed these on, they are shashvataha. So here Arjuna is telling Bhagwan that etai doshe, these misdeeds of kulagnanam, the ones who are going to destroy the family, the entire kula, because there couple of generations of kulas were standing in the battlefield on both the sides of the war, you know. They will result in varna sankara karaki. They will, you finish the families and the end result is going to be varna sankara in the society. So the jatis will get mixed up, the caste will get mixed up, the religion, even the nationalities are getting mixed up today, you know. So as per our Vedic dharma, the Vedic karmas were different from varnas to varnas. This was in Vedic times. Like there was a Rajasuya yaga, which had to be done only by a Raja, only a king, a Kshatriya could do it. A Brahmana couldn't do that. He can conduct it, but he can't perform that ritual because it is for the Kshatriya Varna, you know. Then even within the Varnas, the rituals differed from Gotra to Gotra, from Sutra to Sutra. Gotra is, this is our lineage originating from a Rishi. The Gotras which we have tell us which Rishi's family we belong to. So systematic. Imagine we know which Rishi's family we belong to. That is our Gotra. And Sutra are those rituals which are mentioned in the Vedas, the Veda which the family follows, the Karma Kanda portion of the Veda. And each family is following a Veda. You can find out if you don't know which Veda your family is following. And in that, in the Karma Kanda portions, there are sutras, different sutras for the families to perform those rituals. You know. So it was very important because, you know, if there's a ritual for a Brahmana and this child who is sitting, his one parent is a Brahman, one is Kshatriya, then the child doesn't have any Varna. Because the Varna will only be there if both the parents are from the same Varna. If both are Brahmanas, then the child is called a Brahmana. If both are Kshatriyas, then child is called a Kshatriya. But if the child is hybrid, crude word to use, but if it's hybrid, then he is not eligible to do Vedic karmas. He is not allowed to do because you are out from our Hindu tradition, you know, you don't belong to any Varna. What's your Gotra? You don't know any Gotras, you know. So all that was very important, you know. And when they don't belong, then naturally the only thing is they're going to stop doing those rituals. So when the family stops doing the rituals, Jati Dharma Utsyandante, Jati Dharma will go away, Kul Dharma Gachanti, Jati Dharma Gachanti, everything will go away. Because they don't feel the need in any case to follow these rituals, where values and attitudes are good enough. This is what they will follow. With rituals they don't, you know. And once the rituals go away, then the next generation is going to ask, why should we get married within this community, within this religion? Why? Because there is no significance for rituals, you know. We'll marry anybody we want to. And the only criteria for marriage is the person should be from the opposite sex. And today that is also not a must. In the foreign countries, same-sex marriages are happening big time, you know. So total confusion in the society which in the Vedic times our ancestors really struggled to preserve, everything is going to vanish, you know. See, the preservation and the perpetuation can take generations, but destruction, one generation is enough. And then the entire chain is broken. What a huge loss. It is a huge loss, you know. We don't realize it today. The way we are, following the West, we are, just destroying our culture very badly. So Arjuna is worried. The next he says, Utsanna kula dharmanam manushyanam janardana narake niyatam vaso bhavati iti anushruma. Actually, when we pronounce, we say bhavati ityanushruma, but actually it is anushruma when it comes to the word. Pronunciation is bhavati ityanushruma. So, utsanna kul dharma nam. Utsanna means those who destroy this kul dharma. Manushyanam, for those people. Janardana, he calls Bhagavan Janardana again. Narake, in narak, in hell. Niyatam, inevitably, definitely. Vasoha, stay. Bhavati is there. Iti anushruma. This is what I have heard, Arjuna is telling Bhagavan. So Arjuna is so worried about all this and he tells Bhagavan that I have heard, iti anushruma, I have heard that utsanna kul dharmanam manushyanam, those people who destroy this very precious sacred kul dharma which our ancestors have handed down to us from generation to generation like the baton in the race. If this is destroyed, we have heard that that manushya is narake niyatam vasa bhavati, that he has to necessarily go and stay in narak, you know. Narak is a place which is full of pain, you know. The narak means only anywhere where you're going to experience pain, that is narak, you know. So Arjuna is talking all this because he has been taught dharma shastra by his religious teachers. And those teachers had told him the importance of kul dharma. This is this kul dharma because of which the family follows dharma, they are righteous, and these people go to make a society, so the society follows dharma. It has got long repercussions, you know. One small thing has got a chain reaction. So these people who destroy kul dharma, narake niyatam vasu, for sure necessarily they will have to go to narak. So Arjuna is such a righteous person, you know. He was so very conscious of dharma, adharma, and following what the dharma shastra had said. He could not see any good drishtafala or adrishtafala coming out of this war. Drishtafala is what? Visible, immediate result of one karma. So the immediate result, what he is saying, is total destruction which is going to happen here. So drishtafala he thinks is very bad. Everything is going to go away. There is going to be destruction. And adrishtafala is the invisible punya papa which we get for our karmas later. So he thinks that this is not going to bring me punya, this is all going to bring me papa, you know, because I am destroying, is not just destroying the family, this has got huge repercussions, and for generations this is going to have repercussions, you know. He is very, very conscious about both drishta and adrishta phala. But when it came to Duryodhana, he is only bothered about the drishta phala, immediate visible results of this war. This is what Duryodhana wants, you know. He had no respect for adrishta phala. He didn't believe in punya and papa and all that. That is why he was an Atatai, which we studied, you know. So Ata is a hardcore criminal and a Nastika, you know. He didn't believe in what the scriptures ever said, you know. That is why he is doing so much of wrong. All he wanted was to rule this kingdom and get that power which comes with along with this kingdom, And all this while when the Pandavas were in exile, and they went to exile because of that game, that dice game, which they played, and there was big cheating which Duryodhana and his mama Shakuni had done, So by cheating and all, they were sent into exile, and then all this while Duryodhana was enjoying absolute power. So power is very, it can corrupt anybody, it's got a knack of corrupting everybody. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Power is very addictive. See, otherwise these politicians with their one leg in grave, they won't give that power even to the children, they won't give easily. Somebody is sitting in a wheelchair and carrying on, somebody is not able to talk but they carry on. But no, this power they cannot give. It's so addictive, And Duryodhana by hook or by crook he wanted this power, And all these righteous people, this Arjuna and all, thinking that what Duryodhana is doing is all wrong. But Duryodhana thinks that these people are a bunch of fools, This is what Duryodhana's thinking is. But Arjuna was such a conscientious person. He was so careful about the drishta and adrishta phala, So he definitely doesn't want to go to Naraka, and he doesn't want to commit this kind of a mistake. Then he says, Aho bat mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yadrajya sukhalobhena hantum swajanam udyataha. Ahobat is like saying alas, like oh my God, it's an exclamation. Mahat papam is great sin. Kartum, we are about to do. Vyavasita vayam. Vayam means we. Vyavasita means we are determined to do. This great sin we are determined to commit. Yad means for what? Rajya sukh lobhena. Lobh is greed. Greed for this kingdom and the sukh which comes along with the kingdom. Hantum, we are ready to kill. Swajanam, our own people. Udyataha, we are ready, we are absolutely ready to kill, For what? This Rajya Sukha Lobhena. So by what Arjuna is saying, it is reflecting about his thinking, He's thinking that what was I thinking before I came to this battlefield of Kurukshetra, that I will go and square up with all these relatives of mine, my cousins, these evil cousins, and I'll put an end to dharma. Actually, that thinking of mine was aviveka. And now, having come to the battlefield and having seen my people around here and realizing the huge consequences which are going to carry on for future generations, now what I'm thinking is actually Viveka. Because this war is going to finish so many generations. When the generations go away, the Kul Dharma, the Jati Dharma is going to end. There will be Dharma Nasha, there will be Varna Sankara, Lupta Pindo, the Kakriya, all that, the post-death rituals of our ancestors, all that which we have preserved for generations, everything is going to just go away. So he tells Bhagwan, Aho bat mahat papam, oh my God, this is a great sin which we are determined to commit. Vyavasaya means determined decision, nishchaya, Vaya means we. So we seem to have decided absolutely that we are going to commit this huge sin. And for what? For Rajya Sukh Lobhena. For the lobha of this Raj, which is going to give us so much of sukh. So we are also lobhi only. We've been saying they are lobhi, no, but we are also lobhi, We are also fighting all this because end result, what do we want? We want this kingdom. And kingdom which will give us so much of sukh. So in the kingdoms, the kings are really pampered and a lot of pleasures are there for them. The best of musicians, dancers and the poets and all, they perform for the kings. And that's a real ego kick. It's a power trip. And for most of the samsaris, this is what is enticing. This is what is attractive. This is the reason why they do all the adharma which they do. Because of all this fun, frolic and masti and all. This is what they want, But not Arjuna. He was a real righteous person, So he says, for this pleasure, we are hantum swajanam udyataha, we are ready to kill our people for the pleasures of this kingdom. So of course it's obvious that Arjuna has forgotten his Kshatriya dharma. He has forgotten that this war was all about dharma and adharma. All he can see is swajanam. Is going on with this swajanam and the loss which is going to be created in the society. But now he's thinking, thank God, in the nick of the time we have become wise, and it's better that we don't do this, mahat papam, and it's better that we leave this battlefield and not fight this war. So he is like, his decision is becoming very sure that no, all this is great sin and I don't want to be a part of it. Then he says, Yadi mama pratikaram ashastram shastrapanayah dhartra rashtrarane hanyuhu tanme kshemataram bhavet. Yadi means if, mam, me, apratikaram, the one who doesn't retaliate, apratikaram, ashastram, he is without shastra, without weapons, he is unarmed. Shastra panaryaha, pani we had seen in Tattvabodh means hands, pani, we had seen that, So these Dhartarashtra who have shastra in their hand, but I, who will not retaliate, who does not have weapons in the hand, Rane Hanyu. So these people who have weapons in their hand, if they kill me in the battle, tat shemataram bhavet. That is only good, because I'd rather be killed than to create all this problem. So Arjuna has decided that he doesn't want to fight this war, because he doesn't want to add to all this tragedy and get this whole mahat papam in his account and a lifelong guilt of having killed his entire kula and causing the destruction in the society. He says, I'm not going to do it, I will not do this. And problem is that the beginning of the war had already been signaled, because those conches had been blown, so the war was declared. So the Kauravas are going to fight, and then when they shoot the arrows and Arjuna doesn't fight back, then he's going to be killed, So he's saying that's fine. In fact, I would prefer that, I'd prefer to be killed. I want to be unarmed. He wants to relinquish his bow and arrow and not fight this battle. He says, no, I don't want to fight, He doesn't want to be a part of dharma. He wants to even sacrifice his life for dharma. He doesn't want to do adharma. For dharma, he is ready to die. So he tells Bhagavan, Yadi mama apratikaram. If I do not retaliate, if I do not fight back, and I become a shastram, I just put my weapons down and not retaliate, then these people who have shastra in their hand, they are going to kill me. So let them kill me. That's better. I'd rather die. I don't want to be a part of this, It's like, those people when they protest, in those protests they'll sit down and somebody is so emotionally charged that some people self-immolate themselves. They set themselves only on fire. Die, for this protest. It's just a momentary emotional thing, that they decide on this, because they're so emotionally charged. And Arjuna is so emotionally charged here, So he definitely doesn't want to fight, So after saying all this, Right from the beginning of the first chapter, Arjuna is going on speaking, telling Bhagavan also. He has literally given Bhagavan a lecture, on Dharma. So, I mean, whom are you talking to? What are you talking to? Everything is forgotten in this moment. He's talking to Bhagavan, but he gives him a huge lecture on all this Dharma, Varma. He's forgotten that it's Bhagavan he's talking to, But after having said all this, he has exhausted what he has to say, and now he becomes quiet. And Bhagavan, of course, has been quiet throughout. We've seen that Bhagavan has not said anything. There was one sentence in the beginning of this chapter which Bhagavan has said. Throughout, Bhagavan is listening to what Arjuna is saying. So now both of them become quiet. Arjuna has exhausted what he has to say, and Bhagavan is still quiet. So now Ved Vyasaji turns his verbal camera to Hastinapur. And we'll read what he says. Sanjaya Uvacha. Eva Muktvarjuna Sankhye Rathopasta Upavishata Visrijya Sasharam Chapam Shoka Sanvigna Manasaha. So Vedvyasaji is bringing our attention back to the fact that all this talk which has happened was actually Sanjay narrating this to Dhritarashtra and Hastinapur. And here in the battlefield, Arjuna had been standing on his ratha, on his chariot, just behind Bhagavan, because Bhagavan was his charioteer, his driver. And Arjuna was standing ready with the bow and arrow and looking around because he wanted to see whom he is going to fight with. But when he sees that it is his entire kula, couple of generations standing on both sides of the battle, on both sides, he thinks that this is a huge mistake we have made. For the sake of this kingdom, we are going to destroy our full family, and the repercussions going to come down. It's a chain reaction which will destroy the society. So he's worried about that. So he decides that I'd rather die than to commit this kind of an act. A very, very righteous person, So here Sanjay is saying, Sanjay Uvacha. So he says, Sanjay Uvacha means Sanjay said, Evam Uktva, having thus said, Arjuna Sankhye. Sankhye here means the battlefield. Arjuna says in the battlefield. Rathopasta. Rathopasta is the seat of the chariot. Upavishata, he sat down. Visrijya, putting aside. Sasharam Chapam. Sasharam are the arrows, Chapam is his bow. Shoka Sanvigna Manasaha. He's totally overtaken by grief. So Sanjay is telling all this to Dhritarashtra, that blind king. And his blindness symbolizes that he was so blind to the adharma his sons were committing. He was blind to his Kshatriya dharma. If he had just told his children, his son, especially that Duryodhana, that no, this is wrong, you don't do this, then they could not do it. But the problem is this fellow, because he could not become the king as he was ineligible, he was blind, so he couldn't become the king. So he is dying to see his son become the king, So he is not stopping him from adharma. This is an embodiment of a Mahasamsari. This is what a Mahasamsari does. My son, my son, my son, and you let them do wrong things. This fellow is an embodiment of a Mahasamsari. So Sanjay is telling him that after having said all this, Eva Muktva, Arjuna Sankhye, in the battlefield, after all this Arjuna has told Bhagavan, right from the first chapter we are just listening to what Arjuna had to say. Rathopasta Upavishata, he was standing in the chariot, then suddenly Visrijya Sashram Chapam, he put his bow and arrow down, and on the seat of the chariot he sat down. shoka sanvigna mansaha, overtaken by total grief, This was a dharma sankat in front of Arjuna. And this righteous person wouldn't do anything hurriedly, He's too good, too righteous, too dharmic, For him this was not possible. He would just not go and do anything, So he just sat down. Now the thing to be noted is that Arjuna sits down on the chariot but does not leave the battlefield. All this while he has been telling Bhagwan that we have to go, I want to go away from here, I don't want to fight, leave the battlefield, leave the battlefield. But still he doesn't leave the battlefield, he just sits on the chariot. Because Arjuna is such a man of dharma that he is thinking that maybe my thinking is wrong, maybe my vision is colored, because if he wanted to leave from Kurukshetra, the Himalayas were not very far away. He was saying, I want to renounce, I want to go away, I don't want to, get involved in all this. He'll be, if you, on further chapters, we will see, what he has to say. Arjuna didn't want to do all this, But still he doesn't leave. He just sits down on the chariot. He's feeling extremely sad. And this we can relate to, because so many times, we tell our people that we don't want to do this, yet we listen to the other person's opinion. Because somewhere inside we have a doubt about our own thinking. We may be emphatically saying, no, I will not do it, no, I will not do it. Then we become quiet when an opinion is being given, because we are not sure about our own thinking. So here, Ved Vyasa ji is so beautifully depicting the effects of samsara on a human being, And at this crucial juncture, that's when Arjuna just sits down on the chariot, he ends the first chapter. Like all the TV serials, we watch, each episode will end with such suspense. That is the reason why we want to watch the other episode, So Ved Vyasa ji is ending the first chapter abruptly like this, so that we want to know what happens in the second chapter. So with this, when Arjuna sits down on the chariot, having said what he had to say, he doesn't leave the battlefield, but he is just overtaken by grief. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gita ends. Om Tat Sat. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamodhyayaha. So this portion is going to come at the end of every chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We will see the meaning in this chapter, and then the same meaning is going to be applied in every chapter. So, in our Vedic times, the scriptures were taught by the gurus orally, because there were no paper and pencils, So the guru taught the scriptures, the shishyas heard them, memorized them, and then passed it on. See the work they have done. They all memorized all the scriptures. This what we have today, they had memorized. That is why we have them in paper and pencil and print today. Otherwise, that time they didn't have it. They just knew it, smriti, by memory, So whenever a chapter was ending, they had a method to indicate that it has ended. Like they would use words like Om Tat Sat. In the Upanishads, the last line of the last mantra is repeated twice to indicate the conclusion of the text which they are studying. But in Bhagavad Gita it is Om Tat Sat. So what is the meaning of Om Tat Sat? These are three words, Om, Tat and Sat. All these three means Brahman. This is the name of Brahman, the Nirgun Brahman, the Param Brahman. The all-pervading, limitless God. All three are the names. So why are we taking the names 3 times? Because we want to express our deep gratitude This is a thanksgiving by saying Om Tat Sat to Ishvara, because he has given this knowledge. This knowledge is not easy to get. Innumerable obstructions can come even if we want to put in our effort. If we are ready to put our effort, still obstructions can come if God doesn't want us to get this knowledge. Just that we have managed to finish the first chapter here itself shows there is huge grace of Ishvara being showered upon us. So with our heartfelt gratitude, we say Om Tat Sat to Bhagwan, And this also means that we express our gratitude to Ishvara, Guru and Shastra. God, Ishvara gives us the Guru and Guru teaches the Shastra. Because there is no other way that we can know this by self-knowledge. This has to be taught, and once a person is ready, once the karmas have fructified, from somewhere that Guru is going to come. You yourself is going to be surprised, that how did this happen? Like, I was never inclined towards this, but I'm listening to the scriptures. This is God's department. He runs the guru agencies like the driver agencies and all. Now, God has the guru agency. He's going to send a guru to you the moment you are mentally ready. So, if God has given this, then with our deep heartfelt gratitude, we say thank you to God for, and by using the words Om Tat Sat. Now, what is the meaning of Om Tat Sat? Om. Brahman has been given the name Om because it is full of significance. Every mantra in our scripture starts with Om. We have to say Om and then chant the mantra. It is Bijakshara, Om. And Om means this limitless, all-pervading God. It said, Bhutam Bhavat Bhavishyat Sarvam Omkara Eva Yacha Kalatitam Tadapi Omkara Eva. Bhutam, past, Bhavat, present, Bhavishyat, future, Sarvam Omkara Eva. Yacha Kalatitam, that which is beyond Kala, beyond time, Tadapi Omkara Eva. That is only Omkara. Omkara is Brahman. So this has so much of significance, and this word Omkara means Om, and Om is made up of 3 aksharas. A, U, U in Hindi, Sanskrit and Hindi, and M. So and in English we write it as A, U and M. But as per the Sandhi rules of Sanskrit, A and U join together to form O. So the chanting of Om, it has to be Om and not Aum. I myself heard people chant Aum, They think that the others don't know that Om has got 3 aksharas, but fact is that they don't know the Sandhi rules of Sanskrit. And the punyas will only come when you chant properly. Chanting anything is not going to get the punyas, So Om is very significant because of that. Then Om is significant both phonetically and linguistically. Phonetically, by sound, it is a universal sound. It doesn't belong to any language. Because when we open our mouth, be it any person from any race, any religion, when you open your mouth, what's the sound? Oh. Close your mouth. Ma. Om. Om. Open, close. Om. Om. This is a universal sound. So this doesn't belong to any language, So when we open and close our mouth, in that only every word which we are uttering, any name we are uttering, any word which it has to come between opening and closing the mouth only. So Om is all inclusive. There is no word which excludes Om. There is no name which excludes Om. So there can be no better name for Bhagwan than Om. It is all inclusive name. If Bhagwan, Nirgun Brahma was given name like Rama, that excludes Krishna. If it was Krishna, then that would exclude Shiva. But Om includes Rama, Krishna, Shiva, everything is included, because every name we utter has to be between opening and closing the mouth. So this is a non-linguistic, phonetic name of Param Brahma, Om. It is so important to know this. Then when we do a Mala Japa, in that we chant Bhagwan's name 108 times. So why do we chant it 108 times? In Sanskrit, the aksharas, the alphabets are from A to H. They are 54 in number. So going in the ascending order is 54 and coming down in the descending order is 54. It's called Arohana and Avarohana. And 54 and 54 is 108. So when we chant Om 108 times, we have chanted every name of every god, known or unknown. So see the significance of chanting Om. One Mala Japa, Om. You do that, you have taken the name of every god, every devata, kula devata, whichever devata, it's all coming in that Om. So Om is extremely significant, Then Brahman is Om, and Brahman is non-dual. It includes in itself everything of this world. Like Omkara is a sound symbol, it's called Pratika, on which we meditate on Ishvara. It is such an important Pratika. Then these three aksharas of Om, A, U and Ma, they signify our three states, and also the three prapanchas in Vyashti and Samashti. So A in English, if we take, A means the waking state and the sthul prapancha. U means the dream state and the sukshma prapancha. M means the dream state, karan prapancha. So these three means the entire world, the entire states, what is happening in this world, it all comes within Om. Then the three aksharas of Om also mean Shrishti, Sthiti, Pralayam. A stands for Srishti, that is creation. U stands for Sthiti, that is sustenance. And Ma stands for Pralayam, that is destruction. So what is happening in this world? Creation, sustenance, destruction. And everything comes within Om. Om is also the word symbol by which we understand Param Brahma. This has a lot of teaching. We understand Bhagwan by Om. And in Sanskrit, this word Om means Avati Rakshati iti Om. That which protects and sustains us is Om, is Brahman. It is that significant. The entire realm of cause and effect comes under Om, Brahman. It's all Brahman here, which is Om. So Om, Brahman, Tat Sat. Tat, that alone is Sat. It is Satyam. Bhagwan alone is Satyam. Jagat Mithya. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. So that is what Om Tat Sat means. So we'll see Tat. Tat means what? Tat is Brahman. Which Tat, when you say Tat, is beyond our sense perceptions. Sarva Indriya Agochara. Is supra-sensual. We can't perceive Brahman by our senses. That's why he's Tat. And Sat, Sat means eternal. We had seen the meaning of Sat in Tattva Bodha. What was it? Trikale api tishtati iti Sat. That which is present in three periods of time, past, present and future, is Sat, Satyam. So Om, Tat, Sat is all three names of Bhagwan. It is the eternal protector, which he is beyond our sensory perceptions. Then it is said here, Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu. Iti, this. Srimad. We saw the meaning of Srimad. What did it mean? The one who is endowed with Shri. Shri is Lakshmi Ji. Lakshmi Ji, this, because Bhagwan is called Srimad, he has all the wealth, spiritual wealth, material wealth. Lakshmi ji is Ardhangani, because Bhagwan, knowledge is being given by Bhagwan. So Bhagavad Gita is also called Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishad Su. It has got the status of an Upanishad. You see, Bhagavad Gita is a Smriti written by Ved Vyasa ji. Smriti means that which is coming from the memory, Smriti. Ved Vyasa ji wrote Bhagavad Gita from his memory of what? Of Shruti. Shruti is the knowledge which God gave. It is apurushaya, that knowledge. No human being has written this knowledge. It has been directly given by God to the rishis in their meditation. And that knowledge is present in the Upanishads, and the Upanishads are present in the Vedas. So Bhagavad Gita has got the status of an Upanishad Su. It is an Upanishad. It is as good as an Upanishad. Every chapter we are finishing, please realize we have finished one Upanishad. It has got that status, It is so important. So this is not just a Smriti. This is like a Shruti. This is like an Upanishad. And he says, Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. This mother of all scriptures is giving us both Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. Brahma Vidya is self-knowledge, the philosophy which tells us Aham Brahmasmi, that I am Brahman. This is the philosophy which we get from Brahma Vidya. But this is not easy to understand. People can sit for millions on janmas and maybe get some intellectual information, but the assimilation of this fact is not easy to happen. And this assimilation does not happen because the mind is not ready for that knowledge. And that mind is prepared by Yoga Shastra. Yoga Shastra is the mastery of the mind. Yoga Shastra teaches us all about Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, and then prepares our mind for Jnana Yoga. And with this Jnana Yoga, we get Brahma Vidya. So many of our scriptures, they just teach Yoga Shastra, and many of them just teach Brahma Vidya. But this mother of all scriptures teaches both Yoga Shastra and Brahma Vidya. It's going to tell you how to prepare your mind, and then it's going to give you this knowledge. This one scripture is enough to get you moksha if you are serious about moksha. If it is just time pass that, oh, today I don't have any other worldly engagement, so I'll go to listen to Gita, that is not going to get you moksha. You put all that aside to listen to this because I want moksha in life, then it's going to happen, not otherwise. So it is Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. They say Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. This is a dialogue between Bhagwan Krishna and Arjuna, which is a samvada. We had seen earlier that the dialogues are of three types: Samvada, Vada and Vivada. Samvada is a dialogue between a knowledgeable person and a shishya, a guru and a shishya. The guru who has the knowledge and shishya who humbly listens to the knowledge, puts his doubts across to the guru, and guru is going to solve the problems. Because it is not a commandment, it is not a preaching, this is a teaching. It is a two-way process. Teachers teaching, students asking questions. So it is a dialogue. So Bhagavad Gita is a samvada. It is vada is between whom? Between two equals. And vivada is an argument between two people. So this is a samvada between the guru, who is Bhagwan Krishna, and the shishya, who Arjuna is going to become a shishya shortly, shishya. Then he says, Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamodhyaya. Arjuna's Vishad means Arjuna's grief. Vishad means grief, And then he says Yoga Nama. So this word yoga, I had told earlier that in different contexts this word has got different meaning, yoga. Now here itself, it said Yoga Shastra earlier. Now he's saying Arjun's Vishada Yoga. So the two words yoga is used right here. So what is the meaning? So yoga has many meanings, One meaning comes from the root yuj. Yuj means to join, union. That is a union between the seeker and the sought. When the self-realization happens, the Jeev becomes one with Brahman. It is realization, freedom, moksha. That is also yoga. Then yoga can be a means of achieving anything you want in this world. That is when, yoga, kshema, they are used together. Yoga is getting what you want from this world. Kshema is retaining whatever you have got. You put effort to retain is kshema, and yoga is getting. So it's also used for an upaya, a means of achieving whatever you want to hear. Then Patanjali Maharaj gives the meaning of yoga as chitta vritti nirodha. That is stopping your thoughts totally. It's mastery of the mind. Yoga has a different concept of moksha totally, Patanjali Maharaj's yoga, So chitta vritti nirodha is also yoga. Then when we do dhyana meditation, that is also yoga. Now here this word yoga means the subject matter, the vishaya of the first chapter, it is yoga. What is it? Arjuna's Vishad Yoga. The subject matter of Pratham Adhyaya is Arjuna's Vishad. Now this yoga word in this line has been misinterpreted by so many people left and right. You hear about it, person who has heard all this. What interpretations they are giving? They say that you cannot enter spiritual life until you experience vishad in life. Only when you have grief in life can you become spiritually inclined. Also you have to work yourself into vishad. Get vishada, then you will be able to, these doors of spirituality will open for you. We don't have to get vishada, there's vishad only in life all the time. From childhood we are having vishada throughout life, or whatever you experience, so much of vishada. And some people are a source of vishada for the whole world, they themselves are vishada. So this is a wrong meaning, The only thing is, when we encounter vishada, our responses can be of two types. One is this suffering which I am facing. To some people who have punya karmas, they are going to think about life itself. What is the meaning of this life? Why am I facing this? They do vichara, they do inquiry, they work on yoga shastra, they get Brahma Vidya and solve the problem of shoka for good. This scripture is shok nivritti shastra. Your shok is going to go away for good if you understand what this is saying. And the other thing is, some people, they succumb to this suffering as self-pity. Why me? Why me? Why am I having this? Why am I having this? And they become escapists. They run away from life. Some go into depression, some suicide, who commit suicide. So the Vishada is not, it is just the subject matter of this. So thus we end the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Pratham Adhyaya of Bhagavad Gita, which is called Arjuna's Vishada Yoga, which is a samvada between Sri Krishna and Arjuna. This Bhagavad Gita, which is like an Upanishad, it is going to give us both Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. So with deep gratitude, we also say Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamadaha